Yo, what is up, fellow Titan mains? I've been seeing around the community that Titans suck and people are tired of using melee only builds. Well, today I've got a build that isn't melee focused and it still destroys literally everything. Jumping right into it, this build focuses on using the Fang Pauldron and exotic gauntlet armor piece. Fang has an armor perk called Horns of Doom. Defeating targets with void damage has a chance to grant an escalating bonus to damage with void weapons. Defeating targets with void melee grants super energy. While Sentinel Shield is active, defeating targets with melee attacks recharges shield throw, which extends your super on hitting a target. So guys, the most important part of this for our build is going to be the fact that we get an escalating bonus to damage with void weapons. So, Warlocks, you guys don't have the only weapon, or your rifts aren't the only thing that's going to buff somebody's damage up anymore. For our weapons, we're going to be using some void-focused weapons, obviously, if we're using Fang Pauldron. Jumping into our secondary weapon, we're using the Buried Bloodline. Buried Bloodline has an intrinsic trait called Hungering Coral. Hungering Coral double fires tracking bolts, and the landing bolts leech health from the target. That's not the most important parts of the Buried Bloodline for us. So Buried Bloodline also has a weapon perk called Violent Reanimation. Multiple final blows with this weapon grant Devour to the wielder. So we're going to get Devour constantly, which is an awesome void buff, and you guys will see why in a second. And then, if you have the Catalyst for this weapon, the Catalyst for the Buried Bloodline is going to grant us weaken on hit while Devour is active. So if you jump back to that weapon perk, we're going to get Devour anytime we get multiple final blows with this weapon, which hint guys, it's going to be a lot. So we're going to weaken and have Devour constantly. For our heavy weapon, we're running Edge Transit. It's great for boss damage. You want a God roll for Edge Transit. You want to have Bait and Switch and auto-loading holster or Envious Assassin. You can also run this with the Retrofit Escapade or the Hammerhead with destabilizing rounds if you want to blow shit up. Jumping into our subclass, we are running the Sentinel Shield. Sentinel Shield lets us cosplay as Captain America and just literally destroy everything and throw around America's shield. Happy early 4th of July, guys. And then for our abilities, we are running Rally Barricade so our teammates don't blow themselves up on our normal barricade, because trust me, they do, because they're the real crayon eaters. And then we are also going to run Strafe Lift, Shield Throw, and my personal favorite, Scatter Grenade. Jumping into our aspects, we are running Controlled Demolition. Hitting a target with a Void ability or Volatile Explosion makes them volatile. Further damage to a volatile target causes them to explode, and it grants you and nearby allies health when a volatile target explodes near you. So we're going to blow things up, we're going to get health back, and it's going to be a great time. It's insane to have this for this build. Jumping into our next void aspect, we're going to be using Bastion. Cast your super to grant overshield to nearby allies. Casting your barricade grants overshield to yourself and nearby allies and empowers it, enabling it to slowly regenerate the overshield of allies bunkering behind it and extend their overshield duration. Essentially, anytime we use our super, our allies are near our allies, they're going to get an overshield. And anytime we use barricade near our allies, we're going to get an overshield, they're also going to get an overshield. And if they're bunkering behind our barricade, their overshield is going to be extended and it's going to regenerate. So lots of survivability here. Great aspect. Jumping into our fragments, the first one is going to be the Echo of Expulsion. Void ability, final blows cause target to explode. So we are going to constantly be cycling our void abilities here. We're going to be throwing lots of shields, throwing lots of grenades, and it is going to cause targets to literally explode, which is what we want. Our next void fragment is the Echo of Cessation. Finisher final blows create a burst of void damage that causes nearby combatants to become volatile. While this is a good part of this fragment, it's not the most important part. The most important part is that defeating volatile targets creates a void breach. So anytime we create or defeat a volatile target, we're going to get a void breach in front of us. For our next void fragment, we are going to be using the Echo of Starvation. Picking up a Void Breach or an Orb of Power grants Devour. So it kind of builds off our last fragment, which creates Void Breaches. Now we're using those Void Breaches to gain Devour, which is going to give us health and grenade energy back anytime we get a kill while we have Devour. So yeah, it's insane, guys. And then our next Void fragment is going to be the Echo of Instability. Defeating targets with grenades grants volatile rounds to your Void weapons. So this is super important because we are running double Void weapons, and we are going to be throwing lots of grenades and getting lots of final blows. So anytime we do that, we are going to be shooting volatile rounds, which is going to absolutely annihilate the battlefield with whatever weapon we're using. It is literally going to make everything explode. Jumping into our armor, guys. So for this, we want our stats to be 100 resilience and 100 discipline, so that we have our class ability and our grenade up as much as possible. We also want to get melee as high as we can, but that's not the main point of this build. We're going to be throwing our grenade a lot and blowing things up. So good high melee is also really, really good. For our helmet, we are going to be running heavy ammo finder and special ammo finder. We're also going to be running harmonic siphon because we're running void and we're using double void weapons. Any rapid void final weapon blow creates an orb of power, which is really beneficial to us. For our gauntlet armor modifications, we are going to be running impact induction. Causing damage with a powered melee attack reduces your grenade cooldown. And we're also going to be running momentum transfer. Causing damage with a grenade reduces your melee cooldown. And then finally, we're going to be running firepower. Your grenade final blows create orbs of power. So anytime we get a grenade final blow, we're going to create orbs of power for our teammates, and it's going to be awesome. Jumping into our chest armor, guys, here we're just running basic resistances. It depends, whatever encounter you're running is going to need specific resistances. Just feel free to modify it based on that. You know, you guys know what to do there. It's on you. Good luck with that. And then jumping into our leg armor, we are going to be running Innervation. It's going to reduce our grenade cooldown each time you pick up an orb of power. We're also going to be running Absolution, reduces all ability cooldowns each time you pick up an orb of power. And then we're also going to be running Invigoration, reduces melee cooldown each time you pick up an orb of power. So essentially, guys, we are just reducing our ability cooldowns non-stop with our armor mods. And then for our final armor piece, our mark, our class item, we are running Distribution, reduces all ability cooldowns when using your class ability near targets. Bomber reduces grenade cooldown when using your class ability, and Outreach reduces melee cooldown when using your class ability. Guys, we basically have a Heart of Inmost Light built into our armor mods, and we are going to be literally just spamming abilities. So, jumping into our seasonal item, this is another really important part of the build, probably one of the most. Since we are going to be weakening targets constantly, we want to make sure that we have Expanding Abyss equipped in our seasonal artifact. What this does is void sources deal increased damage to weakened targets. So guys, if you weaken a boss with your buried bloodline, you can literally bury his bloodline with the edge transit, because it will do so much damage, especially if we have stacked void damage, weapon void damage from our Fang Pauldron. So this build, guys, is literally insane. You will be literally shooting off fireworks on the map like it's 4th of July. By the way, happy early 4th of July, everyone. Hope everyone has a safe holiday, and keep your fingers in check. Alright, guys, that's the build, though. Thank you. Have a wonderful day. Peace!